Hello and welcome to Gettable, AFL.com.au's home of trade, draft, free agency and contract news. We are here thanks to Google. It's great to have our friends at Google back on board for season 2025. We've got a massive show in store for you. Number one draft prospect Cooper Duff-Tytler will join us at the desk. He's had a fantastic start to the season. We're going to take some of your questions as well. But this week, the cover story is the big story. It could be the big story for the next year. It could be the big story for the next 18 months. Cal, talk us through it, because you broke the story on AFL.com.au earlier this week around Harley Reed and the contract options that West Coast had presented him.
Yeah, the cover story today, Riley, and this week is the need for Reid. A couple of other ones coming as well. Why this little-known defender is making waves. Club go hawk hunting as big man catches interest and the next TDK. But the big one, of course, is the need for Reid, the need for Harley Reed. And as we revealed on AFL.com.au on Tuesday, the Eagles have put forward multiple new contract offers that are massive in length and also a lucrative nature too. So here they are, 3-year deal to the end of 2029. So that's one of them. That's obviously beyond his 2026 deal at the moment. A 5-year deal through to free agency in 2031, and then a longer term deal. So that stretches from 7+ years onwards. It's almost a name your own price and the year length, but it will take him through to beyond that unrestricted free agency at 2033 and beyond. So they are the three options at the moment. Now, the first two offers range from $1.6 to $1.8 million a season, and the longer term option is on the cusp of $2 million a season. So this is the new normal. This will be the new normal, but it would make him the best paid player in the competition. The Eagles' cards are on the table, and they are a very good set of cards. They are strong offers, and they're meeting the market that Harley Reid has in Melbourne as well.
So the 3-year deal to 2029 takes him to his 6th year in the AFL system, so then he'd have another 2 years to go until free agency. The 5-year deal takes him through to free agency. Is the longer term option sort of like a Josh Kelly-esque option, or how would that work for him?
Well, it would just mean you lock in for longer term and you get your money for doing that. So that's one of the options for him. Now, I think he's going to still take his time. He's shown a willingness over the period now, over the course of his year and a half at the Eagles, to take his time. And I think that's probably the way it still progresses. But in doing this, the Eagles have shown how much they value him, how much they love him, and how much they want him. So I think there's no doubt that's going to be there and in front of him for a long time. But also, it's not going to stop the Victorian clubs coming for him. And I think that all bar a couple of clubs in Victoria are going to be in this chase this year and also next year. North Melbourne, I don't see in it. The Western Bulldogs, I don't see in it either as well. And Carlton has real salary cap constraints. But everyone else in Victoria I see as being part of the Harley Reid chase. Hawthorn and Geelong stand out to me as the real front runners on this one. Essendon has the picks and the cash. And don't forget Melbourne having a red hot go as well, given the fact that a couple of years ago, they made the biggest ever pick swaps offer to try and get access to number one pick in Harley Reid. So that's where things stand. I don't think this story is going to stop here, but certainly the Eagles' cards are on the table, and as I said, they've put it forward in a really good way.
That's why I said it might be the biggest story for the next 18 months, Cal, because what do you actually see him doing? I mean, you can imagine the response might have been, can I take my time on this? Because he does genuinely have 18 months to decide which of these options, or the fourth option, which is to leave the football club.
Yeah, and I honestly think if the old system of a 2-year deal for first-round picks was still in play, that he would have already signed a 2-year extension by now. But because he's got 3 years, he's been given more time to wait and think it over like other players from his draft year. So, look, I think playing good footy is the first focus for him and will be the first focus for him, but he knows this is in the background and that can give you a bit of surety as well.
One last one for you then. Why isn't a 1-year extension on the table, which would have taken him 3 to 4 years? You mentioned there that 2 + 2 might have already been done had it been available to him. Why isn't a 1-year extension on the table?
Oh, look, I think if he said to the Eagles, I want to do a 1-year deal, I think they'd still do it. Yeah.
All right, love that from you, Cal. You can read the full story on afl.com.au now. How about you come back to the desk?
Yes.
As we get back to our next segment. It is one of our favourites here on the show. It is right here, right now.
Right here.
There it is.
Right now.
There it is. I might kick us off today, Cal. And right here, right now, Leaping Lek is becoming one of the biggest targets in the AFL. I want to show you these 2 marks he's taken over the last couple of weeks. This was a fortnight ago against Williamstown. One of the Mark of the Year contenders. That is huge from Lecalier. He followed it up the following week against Sandringham with this one, which I think might even be even better.
Bang.
So the last couple of weeks, he's had 18 intercepts. He's had 33 disposals. He's taken 13 marks. They're just over the last fortnight. Clubs are coming for him. Clubs came for him last year. St Kilda had significant interest in him last year. The Giants opted to keep him to his contract, which expires at the end of this season. Now, the Giants are keen to extend him. They'll begin to open talks on a potential contract extension in the next couple of weeks. But I just can't see Leclerc not exploring his options now, especially given he's played only 12 games in 4 years since arriving at the club as a first-round pick, stuck behind Sam Taylor, Jack Buckley, Harry Himmelberg and Connor Iden. Brisbane liked him in his draft year as well. He's South Australian, so you'd have to think the two South Australian clubs, given he was recruited at a Central District, might have a look at Leclerc as well.
All right here, right now, Max Ramsden is a player of interest for a lot of clubs. Clubs are going hawk hunting, and Max Ramsden is in their sights. 21-year-old ruckman. We know the ruck market sees these younger rucks who can't get games be picked off by rival clubs. He can't get in ahead of Lloyd Meek. He can't get in ahead of Ned Reeves. I expect Ramsden, who's contracted for next year, to be in the sights of a number of clubs. I know that already is the case. Pretty athletic player, mid-season draft pick from a couple of years ago. Contracted for next year, but what does that mean? Nothing if a club comes hard. So clubs are hawk hunting and he's in their sights. Love
that from you, Cal. All right here, right now, a Richmond VFL gun is on the radar as the potential mid-season number one. We love a potential mid-season number one. Keep Tom McCarthy on your radar because he has had a fantastic start to the season. Had 23 disposals on the weekend, had 24 and 26 to start the year. He's a 187-centimetre running defender, can go through the midfield. He had a number of scouts watching him at this game at Punt Road on the weekend. Clubs were watching him. Clubs liked what he was able to produce. He was sick all week, Cal, but he got up and he played in that game. Massimo Razzo, his teammate at Richmond VFL, is another option on the radar for clubs. 171-centimetre small forward. Don't Richmond VFL have a good track record of producing AFL talent as well? Sam Davidson, Sam Durham, Massimo D'Ambrosio, James Trezise, McKelty Lafau and Tyler Young over the last 3 or 4 years. So keep Tom McCarthy on your radar.
I will. Right here, right now, the footy world. Let me start that again. Right here, right now, because this deserves a proper intro. Right here, right now, the footy world doesn't know what's coming. It's not ready for Dougie Cochran. It's just not ready. 2026 can't come quick enough for Dougie. Here we are. This is some of his highlights from the weekend. 6 goals, 2 from 20 disposals playing for Central District's under-18 side. He's still 16, Riley. Last year I said after the under-16 championships, I said bookmark it. He's the number one pick for the 2026 draft, and everything so far has suggested that that's going to be the case. He can play midfield, he can play in the back line, he can play up forward, he can do everything. He's still 16. I think we're going to see some huge growth from him this year. So, yeah, there's a lot to like about Dougie Cochran. And you know what the other players in Dougie's year are asking? Teach me how to Dougie.
Oh, love that for you, Cal. All right, Dougie Cochran could be the number one pick in 2026. One man who could be the number one pick in 2025 is Cooper Duff-Tytler. Let's have a chat to him. All right, we are thrilled to be joined at the Gettable desk by one of the best draft prospects in the group this year. It is Calder Cannon's ruck, Cooper Duff-Tytler. Cooper, thanks for coming on.
Cal, Riley, thanks for having me, boys.
It's a pleasure to have you in. It's been such a great start to the season for you. Take us through your first couple of weeks, because your first game, you couldn't have started any better. A goal out of the centre. You must be wrapped at how the first couple of weeks have gone.
Yeah, it was good to get the nerves settled with a goal at the start of the game, which was, definitely good. The first 2 weeks, obviously, I was looking to just build a solid base for the rest of the year, and I feel like I've done that now. Definitely still come away with areas to improve, but pretty happy with how I've gone the first 2 games.
I've seen you play the last couple of weeks. Obviously, the first one that we see here against Oakland, then again over the weekend against Tasmania. It feels like you've taken your game up another level this year. What have been some of your goals in terms of the way you wanted to play in 2025?
Throughout the off-season, I really worked hard on my marking as well as my follow-up work. So for me, it was a big focus on making sure that I'll launch at the ball, just giving myself the best chance in every contest to be able to mark it, and then also with my follow-up work, building my aerobic capacity, and then just intensity, like post-stoppage or post-contest, to be able to get after it and just help out my mids.
Talk to us about your game, because you're obviously a big ruck, but you're a mobile ruck as well. You've had 26 and then 24 disposals to start the year. Talk to us about what type of player you are and the types of AFL ruckmen that are currently running around now that you try and model your game around.
Yeah, so for me, I feel like as a player, as you say, I'm best as a ruckman right now, I'd say. But yeah, I'd try and obviously help my mids with the hit out and try and win that, but I definitely feel like my best work's done once it's on ground level, and really just act as a fourth midfielder, get around the ground well, get involved in in possession chains, and then being able to pick it up off the ground as well. But an AFL ruckman that I base my game off would be Tom De Koning and Luke Jackson. I feel like they get after it on the ground as well as in the air, and really just play as a fourth midfielder after the contest.
Do you study them and see these guys and how they're playing at the moment and think, I can do that, I need to get better at that, these are the things that I can follow? Yeah,
definitely like watching their games, as well as going back into old film and watching how they played at under-18s level.
Yeah, okay.
So I do a bit of that before a game or whatever. I'll see what I notice, I'll pick up from their games, what I can implement into mine to really get the best out of myself. But I definitely like watching those players.
Now, basketball's been a big part of your journey. When did you make the decision that it was going to be football for you? Because you've played both at a pretty high level all the way through your junior career. Yeah,
it was about August last year when I got named in the Futures squad for Grand Final Day.
Yeah.
I was at that stage, I was already leaning towards footy. I felt like I had a strong back end to the year with footy, and felt like my passion lied there. But once I got named in that Futures squad, I said to Mum and Dad that I think I'm happy to choose footy at this point.
Tell us about your basketball. How good were you? I think we've got some vision of you playing. I don't know how old you are here. Let's see.
Yeah,
Where would that have been from?
I was about 15, I think, under 16s.
You look like you're playing against 12-year-olds.
And you're a point guard as well, you were saying off air.
Yeah, at that age I played point guard and more at the rep sides. When I played a bit higher level, I was more of a small forward, power forward. But as a basketball, I was someone that tried to get my teammates into the game a lot. Pretty unselfish player, I'd say, and a defender. And I got to play for Australia once in under 16s. It's the highest level I got to, but
You'll play for Australia this weekend for the AFL Academy, which is a great moment for you, but also as part of the Marsh AFL Academy program against Richmond's VFL side. How much are you looking forward to that? Not only playing against some AFL-listed players, but also playing with the best guys, your own age group around the country. Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, we're all friends and we've gone into camp together before with the AFL Academy, so it'll be good to be able to run out together. We obviously all get compared to each other a fair bit and the stuff, so it'll be good to all be teammates and be able to get all our talents on one field. But it's definitely going to be a good challenge and something I'm looking forward to verse like AFL bodies and real men. I guess it's a good chance to test yourself.
Now, there's a few number one contenders in the group on the weekend as well, and you're one of them. How do you deal with the expectation, the chatter, the discussion around you being a number one pick, and do you enjoy that?
I definitely enjoy it. I feel like it's good recognition for my hard work that I put in, obviously away from the games and the stuff that people don't see. But at the end of the day, it's just like people talking really. Like the only stuff that really matters is playing well and impressing your teammates, coaches and recruiters.
As Cal said, there's going to be a few number one contenders running around this weekend. Who are you looking forward to playing alongside that you might not get to meet when you're playing with the Colby Cannons?
As a tall, you'd probably like Josh Lindsay kicking you the ball. He's got a good foot on him, as well as Zeke Illand. Bo Adensel is a good hard mid that I really rate in there. I got to play with him grand final day, and it was nice tapping the ball to him, as well as Dan Annable. I think they're both really good mids.
So you're playing in an exciting Calder Cannons team as well at the moment, on fire, and you've got a couple of mates there who are lighting things up. So Huss Al-Ashkar was very, very good again on the weekend, hustling for Huss. And also Adam Swade. Tell us about playing with these two.
Hussey's just electric in the forward line. Obviously it's nice being able to kick it to the talls and knowing if it goes to ground it's probably going to end up in a Huss goal. His nickname's Darty, and he'd like to be start getting called the Darty Party, he reckons.
Roll with that? All right.
Yeah. So we're getting rid of hustling for Huss and we're going with the Darty Party.
Yeah, I reckon that's a go. And Adam Swade, he's obviously come back from an ACL this year. I feel like it's pretty unbelievable that someone can come back straight into a Coates League team and be able to perform the way he does after a year out due to ACL. I feel like it just shows the work he's put into his rehab. And obviously the professionalism shown to be able to come back from a 12-month injury and perform how he has.
No nickname for him?
Nah, not yet. We just call him Swadey.
Okay. We're going to find one first.
Work on that.
We've got the rest of the season to find one, Cal. Your form at the Cannons really spiked at the back end of last year, and you mentioned you played on grand final day in that Futures game. I mean, what did you take from that experience of playing at that level towards the back end of the year, and how much confidence did that give you going into 2025?
Yeah, at the back end of the year, that's kind of when basketball started. The basketball season ended, so it gave me some more consistency with footy, being able to play a game and then go to training instead of playing a game, then going to play another basketball game that night.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that helped me, just getting consistency in my game. And then I also felt like it gave me a lot of confidence this season, now putting all my attention into footy with a big pre-season, being able to solely focus on footy, that I could definitely elevate my game to the next level. Yeah.
And you trained with the Bombers over pre-season as well, as part of the Calder Cannons alignment and the AFL Academy program as well. How was that?
Yeah,
Some
it was.
shots of you. The colours look good, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
American for you.
It was an unbelievable experience. I think it definitely opened my eyes into like the professionalism and the AFL environment. But yeah, out there on the track, especially, obviously, as you can see there's a few fans in the back, which it was open day, so it was good to get that
You signed
experience.
any autograph? Did anyone say, oh, so what number are you?
No, I was in there with Hussey and we stayed inside and they went out signing. But yeah, I think just seeing like the physicality of it from defenders to forwards especially, as well as like how structured and the footage of like the footage they go over after training and before training, and then being able to implement it, it's definitely a lot more structured than the junior game.
Now, you're nearly actually NGA available to the Bombers. Tell us
Yeah.
about your family background, because your dad's Sri Lankan,
Yeah.
also a very good local footballer too,
Yeah,
I'm told.
so he tells me. We've got the Sri Lankan background. My dad's parents both grew up in Sri Lanka, so they moved here a year before he was born. So one more year in Sri Lanka and I probably would have been NGA, but yeah.
Not to be.
Are you going to play some VFL footy later in the year, do you think?
I'd definitely be keen to if it comes up, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, I'd definitely be happy to if Essendon liked me to.
And you would have had an Essendon link when you were with the Bombers, obviously with Isaac Kako, who came through the Calder Cannons last year.
Yeah, Kako was really good for me when we went to the Bombers. Obviously, me and Hussey both went in there for the week. And yeah, I guess we kind of followed Kako around a bit, but yeah, he was really good, looked after us as well as the other boys.
Okay, so before we finish up, are you a CDT man or a Duff man, or how do you want us to
Duff
roll
man.
with this year? You can set the scene here, because you're early.
This is where you get to choose, mate.
You're our first guest.
I think Duff is usually just the nickname.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on if we started rolling with Super Cooper Fragilistic XP Deli Duff-Tytler like this? There's the Duff man. And that's a Mary Poppins umbrella.
Yeah.
The place. Thoughts?
It's a bit of a tongue twister, but if you want to try and spit that out every time, then good luck.
I wanted to check, because last week we rolled it out. Are you guys like of the generation where you know the Mary Poppins supercalifragilistic?
Yeah, I did watch Mary Poppins when I was younger, so I do know where it comes from.
We've had some feedback from some draftees already that they don't understand our references when we're nicknaming them, so that's not ideal.
Maybe-
We were worried about this one, but we...
You would understand if you get creative in the middle, we can start calling you Tytler the creator.
I'm not a big YouTube man, so I don't actually watch it.
Thanks for coming in, mate. Really appreciate it. This is
you.
for you.
That's yours.
That's your Gettable t-shirt. Chuck this up to your camera in here, number one.
There we
The
go.
red,
Alright.
the red light.
There we go, beautiful.
Good luck for the rest of the year. We really appreciate you coming in, and well done on the start of the season.
Nah, thank you.
Thank you, Cooper.
Thanks, Cal.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks, right.
All right, plenty more still to come
seat,
on
have a
the
seat.
show. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, it's Clayton Oliver and you're watching Gettable with Cal Twomey and Harley Beveridge. Now it's time for Askable.
Big thank you to Cooper for his time. Cal, he's made such a fantastic start to the season. Where do you see his potential draft range being?
1 to 2 to 3 at the moment. I mean, he's definitely one of the major considerations for clubs as a number one pick. So you talk to recruiters around this one, and he's definitely one of the main contenders at the moment. Looking forward to seeing how the year goes. Not many rucks go that early, but he does have some special talents, as we just spoke about.
All right, let's get into one of our favourite segments. It is Askable. Askable is where you can ask us your questions. Get in touch with us on Instagram at Gettable. You can find us there. You can ask us all of your trade and draft questions there. And Sean has got in touch. He wants to know, who are the WA draftees who suit West Coast's needs?
Well, the one that could fill an Oscar Allen-shaped hole at the end of this season is Cody Curtin. I want to throw to a little bit of vision of him, because he's started this season on fire. 8 goals in a trial game, 5 goals over the weekend for Claremont's under-18 side. He's too big, he's too strong, he's too good for that level. He looks like Tom Lynch playing against kids there. He's shaping as the first WA prospect in this year's draft at this stage, and that could well be inside the top 10. So you think about if West Coast ends up with another compensation pick as part of Oscar Allen leaving the footy club, if that does occur later in the year, he has to be right in the thinking, I think. So this weekend will be a good test for him, playing against Richmond's VFL side as some more mature players as part of that AFL Academy game that we just spoke about with Cooper. But he's definitely going to be on West Coast radar.
Brother of course.
Brother of Daniel, taller than Daniel, different player than Daniel, but certainly very, very exciting talent.
All right, Kat wants to know, is LDU going to sign? He's had that 7-year contract offer in front of him for a while now.
Months. And I've been saying for about 6 weeks now, yes. Firm belief is that Luke Davies-Uniacke will stay at North Melbourne. I can't find a club that thinks he's moving.
Okay. Max wants to know, are you still confident that Chad will stay?
Yeah, I am. I mean, like I said, I think this one will play out, but the way it's tracking, the signs are that that's the way it's going. West Coast and Fremantle will continue to chase, and the Dockers have still been in it as well. And he nearly went there a few years ago during the trade period, which never really made the light of day, but obviously stayed on at the Swans, where he's been such a fantastic player. But I still do think he signs a 2-year deal and then gets to free agency. All
right, Ben wants to know, is Darcy Cameron to the Eagles a possibility this year? He's still got 1 year remaining on his contract at Collingwood, and he's made a fantastic start to the season.
Been awesome, hasn't he? And been such a great pickup for them for a late draft selection a few years ago, premiership player. Look, there's a live watch on Darcy Cameron this year. He has been a sensational recruit, and I think the flow-on effect from TDK will be interesting, whether he stays or goes, because if he goes, then Carlton are in the market for that type of position. They have some cash to throw at a player or bunch of players. And if he doesn't go, then what does St Kilda do for its ruck stock? So they go and try and grab someone else as well. So also West Coast has had interest in Darcy Cameron, contracted for next year though. So that's where it becomes complicated if you do want to search around. But I think there is the sense that be open to options.
All right, Joel wants to know any movement on Wanaganeen-Milera. Of course, St Kilda spending the next fortnight in South Australia. Ross Lyon said he'd be disappointed if he didn't explore his options when he was over there.
Well, it's funny that because actually we've got eyes on Wanaganeen-Milera.
Okay.
Yeah, we went down to Moorabbin in the lead up to the game and actually put a GPS tracker in his bag. So we were watching him on Google Maps just jump around from Norwood, and was he at Alberton, or what's happening there? Is he going to West Lakes?
West Lakes, yeah.
I don't know what's happening there. He's spending a lot of time moving around. He's not in the hotel room as much as Jack Higgins.
No, he wouldn't be.
No, that's all a gag. Look, I don't think much will happen on the Desire front for a little bit.
Yeah.
But in saying that, St Kilda's form is been really promising, and you look about success and where do you chase and what does it mean money-wise? Is there going to be much of a difference anyway? So that's certainly in their favour, the Saints.
Well, you look at his form as well, it's only going up, so there's no rush for him to re-sign because his dollar value is only going up as well. Matt wants to know, where does Pies NGA prospect Zach McCarthy look like fitting in?
Keep an eye on this one, Collingwood supporters, because you need to get excited about where Zach McCarthy is tracking. I just want to have a look at some of his vision here because I watched him on the weekend play some really, really good footy. He's a 198cm key forward. He's tied to Collingwood under NGA rules, has a background from Asia, so plays for the Oakley Chargers, so in their zone.
Yep.
Looking really exciting as a young tall forward. He had 19 disposals, 17 hit-outs, 6 clearances and a goal on the weekend against the Northern Knights. He looks like he can move, and it's exactly what the Pies need in their young developing group, given some of the draftees they've had come through in recent years. So keep a good eye on Zach McCarthy. He could be one to shoot up the ranks. He could also be one of 12 to 15 players who are tied to clubs as NGA, as Northern Academy, as father-sons, who are in the first round this year. I think we could actually be in for a record haul of first-round picks this year, 30 plus. That's a long opening night. It's more than half the draft probably, so he could well be one of them. Speaking of the NGA, I've been busy the last couple of weeks speaking to clubs around their suggestions on the NGA and submissions from them to the AFL. Here's the consensus, I would say, around the feedback they threw at the AFL on changes. They want more Category B rookie spots from 2 back to 3 or 4. Extra access to sign NGA players, so if they miss out early on in their 18th, 19th year and are still developing, which is often the way with NGA players, if you can keep a tie with them and keep developing them, then getting access to them in their 20s, training access to be in line with Northern Academies. The Swans and Giants and Suns and Brisbane get access to these guys over summer. Other clubs don't, so they want that. Some more clarity on the eligibility criteria and process and removing the grey areas of the system. That's the big one.
Yeah.
It's just about knowing who is going to be eligible, when they're going to be eligible, and when they're going to be approved, so that They probably don't have as much of a compromised nature of the draft as this year, but that'll play out over this year. I don't think any changes will happen for the 2025 pool.
Okay. Pete wants to know, with Tassie's arrival coming, could clubs move more premium players for picks?
Yeah, I think that is an option. I think we'll see contracted players over the next 2 or 3 years really put their hand up and move around. And it's something that clubs and the better clubs will be thinking about now. How do we get into the picks early, knowing that it's going to be a couple of drafts of difficulty to do that? So contracted players putting their hands up left, right and centre last year, couple of years, that'll happen again this year.
All right, massive show today. Massive week coming up. We're about to get on a plane right now to Adelaide. And we're going to be doing a live show, Cal, on Thursday.
Looking forward to this one at the Footy Festival, the Macca's Footy Festival. We'll be there at 11 a.m. on Thursday, Adelaide time. Looking forward to it. All your questions. Looking forward to seeing our South Australian fans in the flesh. 11 a.m. at Alder Park. We'll see you there on Thursday. Big thanks once again to Cooper Duff-Tytler for joining us in the studio. Keep clicking back to afl.com.au and we'll see you next week.